Hello, I'm Bud McCord. I'm here in Brazil, South America. Welcome to a brand new week, a great opportunity to live our Christian faith one day at a time, moment by moment. I hope you're well and already focused on Jesus Christ. We're going to continue our study in the book of 1 John. We're listening to the Apostle John draw a church congregation back to a pure focus on the person of Jesus Christ, because Jesus Christ is Christianity. He is all, and he is in every believer. That's why Christianity actually can work in our lives, because of the presence of Christ in us and being formed in us and being manifest through us. In 1 John chapter 3, we've been talking about the question of who is actually a true Christian. And I want to read beginning from verse 7 all the way down to verse 10, because this is critical to our own understanding of how we look at other believers and how we look at the Christianity that is being expressed across our globe all over the world. Here's what he says in verse 7. He says, "Little children, let no one deceive you. He who practices righteousness is righteous, just as he is righteous." He, meaning Jesus. "He who sins is of the devil, for the devil has sinned from the beginning. For this purpose, the Son of God, Jesus, was manifested, that he might destroy the works of the devil. Whoever has been born of God does not sin, does not habitually sin as a way of life. For his seed, the character and the nature of God, abides or remains in him, and he cannot sin." Remember, we talked about this. He is not capable of habitually, with his heart into it or her heart into it, deliver sin into the world, because he has been born of God. Now, here's the verse that I really want us to think about today. "In this, the children of God and the children of the devil are manifest. Whoever does not practice righteousness is not of God, nor is he who does not love his brother." Let me read it again. "In this, the children of God and the children of the devil," two distinct groups, children of God, children of the devil, "are manifest. Whoever does not practice righteousness is not of God, nor is he who does not love his brother." There's the difference. Let me ask you this question. Who are the real Christians? In your city, in my city, in the country where I live in Brazil, or where you live in the world, wherever that may be. Who are the real Christians? Can you identify them? How do you identify them? How do you even know how to define yourself? How do you identify yourself? What is it that makes you so sure that you are a Christian? Who are the real children of God? And who are the real children of the devil? Do these two categories actually exist? Well, according to the Apostle John, these two categories have existed, and he'll go on and say this a little bit later, since Cain killed Abel, since the devil convinced Adam and Eve to eat of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And so what is the paternity test? What is the paternity test to know who is truly a believer, a Christian? He who does what is sinful is of the devil, John says. And he or she who does that which is righteous is of God. Another author said this: doing is the test of being. Doing is the test of being. I grew up in the United States. I was raised in the middle of evangelicals in the greater majority and Catholics. And I remember going into small southern towns, and there would be the Baptist church, and then there'd be the Methodist church, there'd be the Lutheran church, there'd be the Catholic church, there'd be a Pentecostal church somewhere. And the number of denominations was growing and growing and growing. And for all of my life, I have watched people defining the Christian life by doctrinal statements and by systematic theologies of some kind. But when we get down to paternity, when we get down to who really is a manifestation of the work of Jesus Christ, which is the destroying of the work of the devil, how do we define what a Christian is? How do we do that? It's a very, very important question because it gets back to us. How do I know that I'm a Christian? How do I know that I actually have confidence that I am a Christian? Is it because I'm an ordained Baptist minister? Is it because I go to a Baptist church? Is it because I go to a Presbyterian church? Is it because I've had some sort of special experience along the Pentecostal line? How do we know this? This is a problem that has been around ever since John wrote about this. Every time from the time of Jesus, is how do we know the children of God? In this, the children of God and the children of the devil are manifest. Whoever does not practice righteousness is not of God, nor is he who does not love his brother. The mark of a Christian is the ability to be righteous or just. Now, I've worked on this in my entire life, trying to make this as simple as I possibly can. The Apostle John really makes it simple. He says there's just two groups. There's groups that are oriented from a deeply rooted desire to love, which is being supported by God on a daily basis so that righteousness can happen and appear as proof that we are children of God. Or there is this other tendency, which is to not even know you're supposed to be righteous, or if you try to be righteous, you only do it for certain people, but you don't do it for all people. And you do it even if you have to destroy half of the world, you want to be righteous only toward a particular group of people, which is of the devil, which is what Cain did. So how do we do this? Well, let me just go back what we've already talked a little bit. Righteousness appears as a flow of what Jesus called living water. He said, he who believes in me, out of his innermost being will flow rivers of living water. It's a manifestation of an attitude and a willingness to give our lives away freely because we have received life freely. It is the ability to give grace because we have received grace. It's love being delivered over time, and love being delivered at the right moment by the right person and in the right way. And the children of God identify themselves. It's because there's a certain way I think I might express it if I were talking to just a new convert. I said it's this almost irresistible desire to be the part of the solution in another person's life. When I talk about a solution, it's to see them becoming free from love stopping or free from sinning. You can tell the children of God because what they most want is for the kingdom of God to come on earth as it is in the heaven. They want love to work, and they want love to be manifest. And so they align themselves with this manifestation of true love that appeared in this world in flesh and blood in Jesus Christ. It's almost like the most overpowering desire within the heart of a person can become the glory of God, that God would be glorified, that the invisible, pure, perfect, eternal love of God can somehow become made visible in my life and in your life. Now, there are people that live like that are in the Baptist church, and there are people who live like that are in the Presbyterian church, and there are people who live like that in the Catholic church, and there's people living like that who don't even have a church to go to because they live under such severe persecution. But inside of themselves, they're having the same experience. And that experience is an inner desire to cooperate with the pure love of God. Now, here is the question. If we really want to make a statement that we are a Christian, what should be our plan? Our plan should be to believe in Jesus to the extent that the river of love would flow through us and to others. To use another metaphor, we want to walk in the light so others can see the light and come to the light, and they too can become the light, the salt in the world. To use a different metaphor, they want to be branches of the true vine that bears fruit. And it becomes obvious to all who observe them that what is going on inside of them is not born of them, but born of God. And when they express themselves verbally about what's happening, they will say something like this: I am what I am by the grace of God. You won't hear a child of Satan saying, I am what I am by the grace of God. You'll hear them saying something like this: I am what I am, and it's not even your business. I am what I am, and if you don't like it, just leave. It doesn't take long to kind of figure out when you're around people what the bent is of their inner life. If it's either a bent toward righteousness, love, the flow of love, toward the kingdom coming in this world. And a Christian is someone who's gotten caught up in this inner desire that love would be able to be manifested. And as they manifest love, they gain confidence because they know that this love is not coming from themselves. It's the love of God in Christ in us that is constraining us and inspiring us to live. So what is the paternity test? He says it's righteousness. It's loving the right person at the right time in the right manner for the right reason. It's something that comes from the new birth. It comes from the seed of God that is still in us. And we know that we are not the source of it, but we know that we just can't get away from it. Oh yes, we can make a mistake and we can stop love, and we can, if we say we have no sin, we're liars. But there is this bent, this disposition, this sense that I was created to be loved by God and to love in the name of God. It's just there, and you know it's there. And you know that you can't escape from it, and you don't want to escape from it. But there are times when you go, yes, Lord, but what you're asking me to do, to turn the other cheek, go the extra mile, is so hard. And it isn't easy, but it is possible because we are the children of God. And He gives this ability to love. So we can tell who the children of God are if we pay attention. Just take away all the titles and just watch. And if you see this continual disposition to forgive, to love, to go the extra mile, and you watch somebody long enough that you can see it, then you can say, that is a child of God. Now encourage that. Celebrate that. Appreciate that. And pray that God would make every single Christian a beautiful manifestation of the righteousness of God. And that's the paternity test. Do we love God? Do we love our neighbor? Are we righteous? Are we just? Are we living by faith? Are we abiding in the vine? Are we walking in the light? Have we become salt and light? That marks us as a Christian. I find this fascinating and beautiful, and I love the fact that the Apostle John made this more simple. God bless you. Have a great day.